Hello and welcome to Win-Win Women. I'm Sam Rafis, host of Love Brand You, a metaphysical show focused on faith and inspiration for you to succeed in all areas of your life. And as we do every week, I start with what I like to call our Love Brand You prayer. So if you would like to take a deep breath, close your eyes, get comfortable in your chair, whatever you would like to do to listen to this Love Brand You prayer. So I'm going to take a big deep breath. To just feel grounded and have these words enter my heart. My God source loves me no matter what. I am always lovable and give myself compassion for everything I have ever done or not done. Love heals me more quickly than self-judgment. I choose love now for me and for everyone in my life. For this I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Ooh, so the theme for this month is career. And I did have a show planned. However, as I was trying to get everything together this morning, as I do every week after today's show, I immediately start planning next week's content. So that's what I had done last week. So I pretty much knew what I wanted to share with you, but I have to be honest, as I was preparing everything, my heart wasn't in it. And you can probably tell I'm a little bit emotional, and in my family, I come by it honestly. We cry when we're happy. We cry when we're sad. We cry when we're unhappy. It's just the emotion that comes out. So I'm really just trying to be honest with you and let you know that as I was planning for doing something on career, my heart wasn't in it. It just felt strange to be trying to share some great wisdom about business when my heart's with my country. So the whole world is watching Canada right now, what's going on in Ottawa. And I'm not here to share my beliefs, my opinions, my views about what's right or wrong. I'm just here for this episode to share my heart. What was coming to me uh, in the feelings about what's going on. So those of you that are familiar with the show, you know I teach transform from the inside out and make your dreams true. And I teach this because I've spent over 20 years in, well, probably 30 years. I've put 20 years here on my notes, but if it's probably been my whole life, but at least consciously, a conscious effort the last 20 years of personal and spiritual growth. So when I'm teaching these concepts, not only through my own experience, but through my studies, this is what I know to be true. So I can honestly say that I was veering off my path this past week. I've been feeling conflicted emotions because, at some moments I'm feeling despair, some moments I'm feeling fear, some moments I'm feeling anger, and then I'm feeling peace, love, hope, and back to despair and anger, which I can say it took hold for a few days, and it hasn't felt good. It hasn't felt good at all. So I kept saying to myself, this is not who I am. So I do what I do. I withdrew. I had to meditate, spend extra time in meditation, in prayer, just going within and tuning into how I was feeling and tune into my God. And just asked for some answers. So it's the same time every time I tune in with my divine self and I go within. It's usually the same dialogue in my head, whether it's that prayer or meditation. So just, if you can, imagine the inner dialogue. So I'm saying, and God's saying, what do you truly want? Me, I'm saying, I want peace, love, and freedom. Back to God. Okay, you know what you want. Now what? And in those moments, I go back to Neville Goddard, the famous Neville Goddard, who was known as a metaphysical, uh, a man that knew the interpretation of metaphysics, the Bible. He was known as a mystic, and he was known to be saying, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So I had to ask myself, how do I do this? And I had to remind myself to go back to the basics of what I study and believe in. And I just want to read you a few things that when I went back into my books, into my university studies, back to my paper. So, quote, in metaphysical science, it is taught that the energies of the mind are in different wavelengths or frequencies. Each of these frequencies of mental energy corresponds to a particular emotion and nature of thoughts going on within us at any given time. And I've said it before in previous episodes. I talk about it frequently. Like attracts like. So I know that. So when seeking peace, love, freedom, the mind will attract it telepathically, provided that a positive mental attitude is maintained about the result being sought. And similarly, if we have a negative attitude about something desired, it will be telepathically repelled. So in essence, whatever we are thinking is connecting us with the corresponding energy levels of everything in nature, whether on this planet or beyond. We are literally drawing to us in physical manifestation the corresponding energy levels of our mind and our thoughts. For this reason, in metaphysics, the mind is considered to be magnetic, and its magnetism reaches into and makes contact with everything in our lives, whether people, places, things, or circumstances. So, are you tracking with me here? Given what I know and believe, no wonder I was feeling despair, fear, and anger at this whole situation, because that's what I've been focusing on the past few days. And if I keep focusing on that negative, that's what's going to keep coming back to me. And I kept saying to myself, I know this. However, when you keep going down that path, sometimes it's hard to bring yourself out of it. So despite everything that is going on today, I had to remind myself this morning when I woke up, when I was having those feelings, and I made a conscious effort to choose to focus on peace, love, and know that no matter what is going on in my country and the feeling of our freedoms being taken away, this is not the true reality. In this moment, I am free. Our Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms reminds me of that. And I just want to share the beginning parts with you because I have to read it out loud even for my own sake. As I read through the whole document today and felt it and assimilated it into my being, it was the perfect reminder that I had. So I just want to read the beginning for you. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. Guarantee of rights and freedoms. 1. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in its subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Our fundamental freedoms. Everyone has the following fundamental freedoms. A, freedom of conscience and religion. B, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. C, freedom of peaceful assembly, and D, freedom of association. If you want to read the full charter, it's easily searchable, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. But the beginning was the most important to me because I know in my heart as a Canadian, we are peaceful, loving, and free. And this is what I choose to focus on. And like I said at the beginning, I have been veering off that path. I've been looking and listening to other people, to other media that are saying and believing different than me. And I have been angry and I've been judging them. This is not who I am. I believe in our fundamental freedoms. I believe in like attracts like. So I have to focus on love, peace, and freedom if that's what I want in my life. And I went back to the books again. And in metaphysics, we have what we call the 7 laws of practicing the presence. And I would just want to share 2 of them that have to do with peace and love. And they're like what I call them, they're laws, but they feel like affirmations to me. So whatever peace I may know, it is God's eternal silence filling me. Whatever love I may have, it is God who is truly loving. And when I remind myself that, all I have to say to myself is when I'm feeling these other feelings of anger, despair, and hopelessness, or any of those feelings I don't want to feel, then I just silently say to myself, love, peace. It's almost like every thought I'm thinking becomes that prayer. And I invite you to try it. If you're like me at this moment in time, especially, if you are in Canada or you're anywhere in the world that is feeling any of those feelings that you don't want to feel, then silently, all you have to say to yourself is love, peace, and take a deep breath. Anything that can make you focus on the feeling that you want, that like attracts like feeling. And now, if it comes to feeling the anger or judgment of another person, and I have been having those feelings this week. It's been Well, it's been a trying 3 weeks actually, but it's the last week that has been especially heavy on my heart. And I had to keep saying about other individuals, again, this is not how I want to feel. This is not how, because another individual may not believe what I believe and may be saying things that I don't like. That is not for me to judge when I believe in our fundamental freedoms and I believe in my metaphysical uh, science belief system. So these are my beliefs, and I am not in any way trying to put any beliefs on anyone else. I'm just sharing with you how I feel in the context of my overall love brand you brand and belief. So when I'm feeling anything less than loving thoughts for another individual, I just remind myself and I say another prayer. God, guide me to understand why they are as they are, and through understanding, I bless them. And I truly do. I truly do. If I cannot understand, I just tell myself, and with feeling and with love, as much love in my heart as I can, I bless and I release, because that's all I can do. And now that I've been consciously focusing on these truths of peace, love, and freedom, and it's only been really today that I consciously made that shift. And I consciously made that shift in what I was working on, in anything that I was looking at, or anything that I was sharing on any of my social media feeds. Because let's face it, what's going on is everywhere in the world. And I had to shift. And it's often called in my world, where do you want to shine your light? Do you want to shine the light on what you don't want? Or do you want to shine the light on what you do want? And it seems simplistic. However, it's wherever you are shining your light is what comes back to you. So when I did think about that, I can honestly say that I'm feeling much more loving. I'm feeling not as much frustration, anger, despair, because I don't like those feelings. So I invite you to, I guess, look within at how you're feeling. What is it um, that is trying for you in what we're going through in the world right now? Because I truly believe that it is affecting all of humanity, and we need to stick together as humanity and not be um, judging each other, not dividing each other for our thoughts, feelings, beliefs, um, that we all have a fundamental right in a free and democratic society. So I invite you to feel peace, love, and freedom. And if you want to reach out, I would love to have that conversation with you. And I think I have a couple minutes here before I have a longer closing than I normally do. So I want to make sure I have time to read that because it's near and dear to my heart. But I think I have a few minutes here to share my screen. So I haven't shared any too much about Love Brand You lately. I've shared a lot of content and I've had some great guests on the show for a few months. So today I can take you through some of the changes, what I've done here, and just to take you here to uh, services. If you want to book a chat, just go to lovebrandyou.com. go to services, or find these red buttons that say chat with Sam. So if you are feeling some of what I've been feeling this week, or you're just feeling like, hey, you know what? Sam seems like the individual that I could have a conversation with. And this is something I do with everyone, whether individuals work with me or not. It starts with that conversation. So I invite you just to book a chat. So if you would like to do that. And you can also, if you don't want to book some time, you can also just go to the contact page and send a message. And this is really probably one of the quickest ways you could get through to me. Right now, it just seems like we're all getting our inbox filled with so many emails. So when I see these messages come through on my email, they seem to pop up quicker. So I would love to hear from you, especially during this time. So I invite you to do that. All right. So this, you'll know if you get to Love Brand You and this is the screen that you see, you'll know that you're in the right place if you want to get a hold of me. And if you want to just know more about me, there's the show links. You can click on that. You can find out more about me. You can find out more about my services, who I ideally work with, which really, I ideally work with women who are looking to either improve their health, their business, and their spirituality. So if that is something that speaks to your heart, then I welcome you getting a hold of me, and I would love to have a conversation. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing that, and I want to get to what I want to share with you. All right. Let me get to the right view so that I can read this. All right, there we go. So this is what I read and or I listen to every single day. And this is my mom gave me an actual uh, picture. It's not a picture. It's called Desiderata, and she gave me her version that is what I put on the wall. So I read it. It's a print. So I read it or I listen to this every day. And I just thought it was something that I could close with today that really touches my heart. And I hope it touches yours too. And Desiderata helps me focus on peace and love. So that's how it ties into today's episode. It's I'm just trying to keep my emotions in check today. So thank you for bearing with me as I take a lot of deep breaths today. So this is by Max Ehrman. He wrote this in 1927. He was an American poet and a lawyer. So you've probably heard this. It's actually quite famous. So, just sit back, close your eyes, and if you like, and I'll read it to the best of my ability. And before I do, I'm going to take a quick drink of water because I think I will need it in order to get to the end of it. Okay. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let it not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself. Especially, do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you much peace, love, and freedom.